I'm trying to make a video about fear. And I keep stopping midway through because I keep hearing sounds that spook me. And every time I come out here, this happens. It's just these inexplicable sounds, and I can't figure out what's going on. And like, I'm on a trail that I found in the weirdest way. So, my grandmother died last year. I swear I don't have to take psychedelics. This is just how I am. So my grandmother died last year, and I always loved what I thought was the family Bible. And it was this old leather-bound antique Bible, and the time period of the late 1800s means so much to me. I don't know why, but it does. And so it was from that time. And as a kid, I didn't appreciate how old it was or anything. But I was stunned because my family was Protestant, and so the Bible had the Apocrypha in it. And as I got older, it's like this was this forbidden book of witchcraft or something to me. But I used to press flowers in this antique Bible. And so when my grandmother died, my aunt asked if we wanted anything from the house, and I asked for the Bible. And come to find out, it wasn't the family Bible at all. It was somebody else's family Bible, a childless aunt of hers or some sort of relative who had died. And inside it was this genealogy. So I take this Bible, and at the time my dog was dying, so I didn't think anything of having the Bible around him. Well, he started acting kind of weird toward the last days, and I also had an awakening at that time, and there were some weird synchronicities with this dog. And it was also weird how he came into my life. Yeah, so I set the Bible down on the bookshelf, and he ended up like attacking the Bible, eating the Bible. And it was the weirdest thing, and it was like a leather-bound Bible. And then the other thing that happened was my daughter found there was this family list that had been kept in the Bible. And so she found this list and tore it up. And I'm like, wow, I really shouldn't have anything, should I? Because I can't take care of anything, and we can't have nice things in my house. So she tore it up, and I picked up a piece, and it had this name on it, and it was the family name of the Bible. So I had this impulse to Google it, and when I did, this listing for a trail came up, and I had no idea this trail existed. And there ended up being some strange synchronicities with it. But anyway, that's how I found this place. So here I am trying to make a video about fear and why you shouldn't be afraid of enlightenment and awakening. But the truth is, within the story, there's always going to be fear. And fear is the charge behind things. And so when we examine what fear is, it's not knowing. And when we examine what beauty is and what love is, it's not knowing. And the mind is what knows. And so when the mind applies itself to not knowing, it comes up with fear. Why are you afraid of the dark? Because you can't differentiate. It's all one. The darkness is all one. There's no light to cast things into colors and shapes and distances. There's just, you have to trust yourself completely. And when people hear the truth of no self and others, they often react with fear and depression, when in reality, when we look deep into someone's eyes, we're looking into utter darkness. into not knowing. And that's how the light comes in, and we are the light itself. And yet you see the beauty, the oneness of darkness. You can't differentiate between the tree or the boogeyman. Your mind wants to know. It has to know. And so when you make the decision to go into not knowing, fear is what arises. And it's really very funny when it's examined and seen that fear is just not knowing, but knowing is what's coming in and labeling it fear. It says it knows it's something to be afraid of, when it really has no way, already had no way of knowing that. And the mind thinks that there's something to lose when it interacts with people if there's no self and no other. But that was always the case before, and seeing the case as it really is means in feeling, which is one itself, there's everything to gain without that false barrier of fear, without the I know not knowing. That's what fear is. It's I know not knowing. And so if you think about why we're afraid of other people, or why we don't like other people, or why we do like other people so much that we want things from them we know we shouldn't want and shouldn't hate ourselves for wanting, it's not the thought, it's not the other people we like, we want, or we don't like. It's the thoughts about them. It's always the thoughts about them. So other people are always an inference in our mind. We have written them in, and we think that we know what their character is, and so we don't allow them to unfold or to change in our experience. And if you've watched yourself interact around people, you know that certain people bring out things in you. And I've talked about this in past videos, how we're always playing devil's advocate. We're always kind of reacting, or that's the pattern that we're trying to see beyond and see as it's happening. So when somebody explains to you the truth of no self, you have to realize that it's just something that they're saying to refute years of conditioning in you. It's not true at all. There's self and other in the story, of course there are. But you've lived in that story forever, and you want to step outside of it. You want you want to transcend it and yet continue in the story. And so it's as if there was writing on the wall and you got a magic eraser, and you took the magic eraser, and instead of using the magic eraser to wash off the writing on the wall, you took it and nailed it over the wall. That's the ridiculousness of believing that there's no self and no others. That's why Neo-Advaita is saying no, continuously saying no to things. And we want to know. It's funny that they're the same word when you say them, isn't it? They sound the same. We want to know. We don't want to be told no. We want to know. But it all sounds the same. It's funny how I used to think puns were stupid and different connections between things and things that sounded the same. And you think when you start out that you're going to heal all these great wounds and things, and that happens. And there's amazing highs of it, but there's also some really funny, ridiculous things that happen. And we so want to know what truth is. We think that the truth must be profound. We think we know what we're searching for. And in non-duality, you find that you do not know what you're searching for. That perception itself is a search that's occurring without anything happening, without anything moving. And so this seeming paradox is peace itself, and seeing through this paradox. And like connection must exist within duality, paradox must exist within duality itself. And so the only thing you can do is say no. There's not two. There's no fear. There's not even love. That's why people deny love. And it's not scary at all, because when you deny the thought of something, you allow the real to present itself fully. There's nothing serious happening here at all. This is all a story. And it's a beautiful one. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Sorry, this was such a crazy one.